While we're gearing up for the multiplayer reveal of Battlefield 6 in just a few days, we've got a bit more to discuss rounding up the recent information coming for the game. Today I want to take a look at something that is finally being done that other games haven't quite done just yet. Some, yes, have, but others not so much. That while it may limit some of the player potential, it also I think is better for the overall product of the game. All that and more in today's video, so drop your thoughts as we go along, drop a like if you enjoy the video, and make sure to subscribe for more Battlefield 6 coverage before, during, because we'll be live at the Battlefield 6 reveal event with multiplayer here on the channel, and after. I'd love to have in the community for any and all of that. So for now, let's get into it. So one of the first things that I expect to be revealed alongside the multiplayer itself, just in line with the multiplayer reveal trailer to kick off the event this Thursday, is the launch. Now, right now it's leaked from EA themselves and some of their legal disclaimers that the game will launch on October 10th. Personally, I think that's a solid time. You kind of get ahead of any competition there may be. Still gonna absolutely be grinding the hell out of Arc Raiders, but that's also 3 weeks after grinding Battlefield 6. So by that point, I think after non-stop play for that long for content and my own personal grinds, I'll be ready to grind something else out and then try and balance them out after a couple of days of grinding Arc Raiders non-stop. But anyways, that also gets ahead of their direct competition in Black Ops 7. While it's not necessarily confirmed just yet, it is leaked by insiders that we'll see Black Ops 7 launch sometime in November, it seems like. Now, I think with a lukewarm reception of what we've seen going into Black Ops 7 so far, the Battlefield 6 can absolutely scratch that itch for some players this year. Now, will it topple it financially and commercially? I still think that's personally unlikely just because of the brand and name recognition to casuals who just pick up a game off the shelf. But in terms of the players who grind every year, I think this could be a solid year of scratching that itch if you're looking for something else. Like if this post-launch year of support for Black Ops 6 wasn't your cup of tea, if carry forward does indeed happen and you don't quite like the aesthetic going into Black Ops 7 being all over the place, this is something that might actually fill that void if you're not really satisfied with one or the other. But when it comes to the launch here, we learned about something recently that is actually, I think, a good thing, though for some people it might be a bit limiting, but that is the platforms this game will be available on. Now, Battlefield 6 will be available on PC via Steam and the Epic Games Store, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5. Wish lists are opened up for each of those subsidiary storefronts, but the one thing that was notably absent was PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were kept off that list of offering. So that means you will not be able to play Battlefield 6 on PlayStation 4 and or Xbox One. Personally, I like this decision a lot. Here's my thing. I totally get consoles are expensive, 100%. But here's the other thing. We're absolutely closer to the next gen at this point than we are the last gen. Depending on where you see reports, some suggest late 2026 of a launch, some suggest 2027, but either way, that means we're getting very close to the next gen consoles already, while still having game developers accommodating in the industry for last generation. One thing that helps this shift, I think, is that we're finally, after 4+ years, starting to see the active users reported for consoles moving to the next generation. PlayStation was the first that I ended up seeing in a large scale talk about this, where they would report their monthly active users with their annual earnings reports, like rounding out their fiscal year. But earlier last year, it was a dead 50-50 split on their player bases between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 monthly active users. But this year, they finally saw a push over that hump to where the player base was the majority on PlayStation 5 at that point. So 12 months after their last report, there was finally that solid shift going forward. And I would imagine that is now even propelling forward a little more, where you're going to see that progressively get higher and higher to be on PlayStation 5 versus PlayStation 4. But why I personally like this is from developmental purposes. There are absolutely developmental ceilings with these last generation consoles that unfortunately hinder the development of these games that then limit the potential of the current generation. There's so much more that can be done with processing power on today's consoles than one that may still be running like a 2013 original Xbox One, like the one that I have on my shelf behind me while I'm recording this. I can still fire that thing up and play on it actively, but the hardware back then was so much more, I guess for lack of a better term, but also to be blunt with it, the hardware back then in some cases is straight up archaic by comparison to what we have right now. That hardware should not be something that developers are being held back by in 2025, going on 2026. 12 to 13 years, you shouldn't have to still accommodate for that. If there was a way to do like mid-generation shifts and that you could end up accommodating for the later generation Xbox Ones and PlayStation 4 Pros and stuff, sure, maybe you have a case, but that's not the way that works, unfortunately. And I think that while we're only a few more years away from even better tech and we'll have to do this whole rodeo all over again, I think you'll see some of that better performance utilizing that hardware better in the immediate future here with this, that you'll likely have better offerings without efforts being split due to various different ports. Not to mention, Battlefield in particular is a multi-year game. How many? That depends on the title. But this one, with a budget they've reported for it, it's probably going to be something that they're going to support it for 2, 3, maybe even 4 years until the next one, and that they'll want to make sure this is up and running as best as possible, as long as possible. So this game in particular, you're future-proofing at that point. Games like Call of Duty have kept going on the last gen, with Black Ops 7 even being supported there. But grand scheme of things, next year when Modern Warfare 4 rolls around for Call of Duty and they decide to go next gen only, it won't be that big of a deal. But if, say, Black Ops 6 and 7 continued support, that would absolutely be a much bigger deal, because you'd see those games being limited by that longer developmental time at that point, that you're accommodating going that further into the future. So hardware limitations be damned, future-proofing for the game's next few years with stable development and current generation support, I'm all in on that. And it's nice to see, because there are still a lot of games that are accommodating for Xbox One, PlayStation 4. And realistically, again, it's absolutely no slight to anybody that still has one of those consoles and actively plays on it, but it truly is a hardware limitation thing here. So by leaving out the last gen, I think that this offers a lot more in terms of the build quality for Battlefield 6. But beyond that, we also learned recently about pre-orders and the versions of the game. Now, right now, pre-orders are not available just yet, which, number one, good. I still firmly believe in playing it for yourself before you ever commit any money to it. Granted, it's not my place to tell you how to spend your hard-earned cash, but as someone just wanting the best bang for my own buck, I like to recommend that any day of the week, because taking time to try it for yourself is a way to actually understand if you will find that bang for your buck. What I enjoy, you may not. And what you may enjoy, I may not. It's not anything that is meant maliciously or anything. It's just the way the world works. We have different interests, and that's totally cool. But being able to play it for yourself dictates if you will enjoy that, or if it's just something that kind of looks good from afar. With an open beta already being confirmed by the official Battlefield accounts, that's the perfect time to do so. Check it out at absolutely no cost to you whatsoever. And number two, with pre-orders not yet being live, these are more than likely going to open up with a multiplayer reveal on Thursday. But the reason I bring this up in the first place is that we've recently learned about the pre-orders of the game and the versions of the game. This will likely be confirmed on Thursday as well, but currently there appear to be two versions of Battlefield 6, a Standard Edition and a Phantom Edition. The Standard Edition will cost, it was listed in euros, but with how the market doesn't usually account for currency conversions and weight, that same $69.99 in pounds is likely going to be $69.99 in US dollars as well. So the main standard version will cost that, but a side note is that's only on PC. The console versions for the standard version of the game will be $79.99, a $10 increase. Now, whether that's for a digital storefront only on PC and compensating for the prospect of physical copies on console, though who knows, because you still can get digital only on console as well, there is going to be a subtle difference in that pricing. But then you also will have the Phantom Edition available, which is going to be your sort of collector's edition, but in a digital sense. Quick sidebar, am I the only one that misses and wishes we had more physical collector's editions with a lot of games again? Like, obviously, it would depend on what it would be for me to end up spending the money on it, but I honestly loved getting collector's editions of some games. Yes, some still do offer it, but not nearly as many as they used to, which I personally think is a bummer. Big collectible fan here. But anyways, this Phantom Edition is going to be your collector's edition, and that's going to cost $99.99 on PC and $109.99 on consoles, if these leaks do hold up. Now, what that collector's edition will include, we have no idea, but if it's anything like 2042's Ultimate Edition, that had things like early access to the game at launch, a cross-gen bundle included so you could play on last gen or current gen, though again, with it not being something that's supported on last gen, you can scratch that one off, a digital art book, digital soundtrack, a year one pass of 4 specialists and 4 battle passes, giving you the premium for all that kind of stuff, and then a few skins for operators, vehicles, and weapons. And was it worth the extra money? Well, that's entirely up to you, but if we're not seeing a physical version of a collector's edition, it's probably not a bad idea to consider it something similar to that. Maybe not exact, but something similar. But Anyways, that's where we're at here. We're starting to see the whole picture come together in terms of the offering for Battlefield 6. So just wanted to fill you guys in here as we gear up again towards Battlefield 6's multiplayer reveal. Today's a travel day for me. I'll be in LA for the rest of the week, so we do have some stuff planned for the rest of the week leading into the launch, but for now, that's where we're going to wrap it up. So drop your thoughts down below. Are you guys liking the sound of leaving Xbox One and PlayStation 4 behind? Or do you object to those? Do you think we should still have those in the developmental rotation? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Battlefield 6 as we gear up for the multiplayer reveal in just a few days. I'd love to have in the community. For now, though, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.